I think Jill's juices flow quite a bit, and it might be for Mr. Kamala Harris.
This beer puts the dick vein back in your Snickers.
It's now we're all talking about defense. We don't want to talk about Ukraine. We don't want to talk about the IRS. We don't want to talk about the Fed. We don't want to talk about how the economy is shit.
You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show, and listener discretion is advised.
Saturday, February 11th, it is 9:28 in the evening. This is Whiskey Hell Podcast, your weekly review of all the news that's gone on since we were here last Saturday, and the news won't stop, Fitz. Holy shit, aliens are here. Have you seen any tonight?
None other than what I see in the mirror every day. But no aliens here in Oregon. They seem to be, strangely enough, they seem to be concentrated over Alaska, Canada, and then Montana here in the U.S. So
yes,
very strange geographical locations for the aliens. But that's why they're alien. We can't even begin to understand their machinations, their thinking. Maybe Montana has really good alien, sex brothels. I don't know.
So thoughts and prayers go out to all the Montanans tonight who are shooting their guns in the air, trying to hit whatever the UFO is. Please make sure that you're wearing safety goggles, and drink one for us, because goddamn, what a fucking time to be alive. Holy shit.
Dude,
it really is.
This is
the second one today. This is the second one today, Fitz.
Yeah. Second one today. NORAD is busy tonight. I'll tell you that. These guys haven't seen this kind of action since 9/11 when they were all in a training exercise. Oh, just kidding. Did I say that?
Wow. Yeah.
Yikes. It's crazy. And you know what's great about this? What my favorite part about something like, a day like today in the news, the fucking conspiracy theorists come out I'm
flying. Yeah.
Oh, it's just flying like
it's so
fucking
great.
shit in a pig fight. And you know what's crazy is some of it's plausible. Some of it actually, I threw one out to you today.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, this. I read this book like 15 years ago, and this is what he said would happen in the book, and now here we are, and that's crazy. So, like you said, dude, what a time to be alive. I am so excited for the show this week. If for no other reason, we get to say the word aliens with a completely straight face. Like I'm not laughing when I say it. Like literally there could be aliens up there, and it's awesome.
Absolutely. And we're not referring to the ones that are trying to get across the border.
Nope, that's the other border. That's the other border.
That's totally different.
Yeah.
What if aliens are actually really stupid? I mean, we give them a lot of credit that they're this omnipotent power, and they obviously, because they're coming here, that they're so really, really super intelligent. What if they're just dumb as shit, like really dumb, and they just had the tech to get here?
No, that's actually a viable theory. God, I cannot remember the dude's name, but he basically, his theory was that the generations of smarts that it took to build the tech to get here, and then they built it, and then they put people on it, and the time length that it takes to get from point A to point B you're going to have, generations of aliens born. And because of all the inbreeding and stuff, by the time they ever make it to us, they're like, 2 shades over a houseplant. I mean, they're just dumb as shit. And they can't communicate. They don't know how to use any of the tech that got them here. They're just dumb. And I love that. I love that idea. I think it's a great idea.
I think we just came up with a whole script, not a whole script, but a whole storyline that we need to go ahead and work on. For
Idiocracy, the invasion.
Well, yeah. I mean, because that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about idiocracy level aliens that would be coming into the earth. Well, I hope everybody's staying safe. Certainly we do jest, but there are men and women who are out there defending the country and flying right now to make sure that everybody is safe. And they can't attack at night, by the way. I just saw that. They can't shoot anything down because it's nighttime. So they're going to wait till the morning. I just posted that.
What?
So yeah, we can't fight at night.
We don't have night vision. I know for a fact we have night vision goggles for pilots.
Well, yes, we do, but apparently they can't continue the operation right now while it's dark. So,
oh my God!
So they're waiting for maximum visibility.
Exactly right. They're waiting for maximum number of people awake and paying attention. That's what they're waiting for. If we're being honest, that is so dumb. War does not pick a time of day.
But seeing aliens and getting your next psyop going requires really good lighting.
Wow.
Montana congressman just confirmed on Fox that a UFO was sighted in Montana and the airspace was reopened as they could not shoot it down in the dark. The operation will continue in the morning.
You have got to be kidding
Seriously,
me.
A Montana congressman. This is Mario Nafwal, which is he's a pretty solid journalist. He's another independent.
Yeah. No, he's good.
So check out our Twitter. I had to share because it blew me away. That was actually a thing. He's not saying which congressman it was, which that sucks. I'd love to know because that's funny. But yeah,
I cannot even with our military right now. Are you?
Wow. Well, we sent it all over to the Ukraine, so we don't have anything left to defend that particular area.
I guess. Wow. Anyway,
what beer are you drinking?
Yeah, let's just jump to beers. You're right. I appreciate that you're right. Okay, so this one actually comes with a cool story. So let's jump in. Last night, my wife and I decided to have a date night, which we just haven't done in a long time. I went into it like a complete and total fucking bitch. I mean, I was bitching and moaning about the traffic. I was bitching and moaning about the fucking restaurant, and then I was bitching and moaning they didn't have any beers that I wanted, and then my food came and it sucked, and I was bitching and moaning, and I just was being a little bitch the whole night. I have apologized to my wife since, but I just shouldn't have gone out. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I went out with the best intentions, like we should be out around people more, and I hated every second of it, and so I need to work through that. But we were in the neighborhood, so I figured let's go to this other market of choice that I never get to go to anymore. So we went to it, and lo and behold, there was this adorable young lady. We did not get her name, but she's just your typical, like if you were gonna sell a product to mostly guys, this is the girl you'd pick. Great smile, cute. Very engaging, willing to talk, not necessarily knowledgeable about what she's talking about, but you don't care because it's, she's easy on the eyes. Anyway, she's like, hey, you guys want to try some cider? And I was like, absolutely, I do. I don't have nearly the buzz that I wanted to have after dinner. So what do you got? Well, this young lady was from Bend Cider Company, and they are solid. They've been part of Bend. For those of you who don't know, Bend is kind of famous, around the country for having some of the best breweries because they come right off of the glacier water in the rivers. I mean, that's the water they use to brew all their beers. So it's great water. And but there's a finite amount of brewers that can be in Bend. I think it's 28 is the number. So you have to basically wait for a brewery to die off before you can get your brewery started. They won't add or subtract any. It's just 28 is the number. Anyway, Bend Cider Company's been up there for a while, and they make some good stuff. Interesting ciders. They have their solid ciders that they're standbys. But they have a new line out. And so the one I'm having tonight is the Blackberry Ancho. So it's a blackberry cider, but with ancho chilies on the end. What's particularly cool about this new line of ciders they have coming out is they have a local artist. Her name is Sheila Dunn. And she's a local artist who paints kind of local wildlife. And on this particular can, she painted a bear, a grizzly bear. And anytime any one of these ciders is sold, they donate to any number of groups that are out trying to help save and preserve, the bears, the land that they naturally live on. And so, a part of your purchase goes to some good causes. So that's cool. Also, the local artist, I like the way she paints. I like her designs. They're kind of mosaics, but they're actually physically accurate to the animals. So anyway, so this is the Blackberry Ancho. I'm going to actually be doing a series of these. So for the next 3 weeks, this week, next week, and the week after, I'll be featuring one of these ciders on the show and just kind of talking about it and kind of what's going on at Bend Cider Company. So anyway, this is the Blackberry Ancho. I did have a taste of it last night, but I'm going to give it a fresh squeeze tonight. Let's see what we got.
So that's really interesting. They've got a little bit of heat to it, I'm guessing.
Yes, it does. Okay. So the blackberry, it's a apple-based cider, so you definitely get the sweetness of the apples. The blackberries add in a meatiness. There's a meatiness to it. And then, the anchos, they're subtle, but there's definitely a kick on the back of your throat as it goes down. It's a deep throat ancho chili fest is what it is. And the blackberries are just enough that that you're not just drinking an apple cider, that there's something else in there. To go completely off the rails here. The blackberries add in some color to the to the sescapade, what do they call those? Not a circle jerk. What?
Orgy?
Orgy. Thank you. The blackberries bring in the oomph, the 12 inchers, the big guys, the big guns, the men of color. And then you get the ancho chilies to make sure everything's nice and hot and steamy in there. So no, it's really a great cider.
Sometime I want to get Fitzy's hierarchy of I want to know which cider orgy impact, so we can get what types of ciders are like what role in the orgy they are.
Okay.
Because if this is the BBC in the back, what's a dry apple like?
Oh, that's your fluffer. That's your warm up guy. That's your, he doesn't have much as far as a package, but his tongue is talented. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I do know what you mean.
He's your warm up. No, and what's funny? You say that. I actually have this all written down in a graph, so I'll have to post that on the website. I do way more thinking about this than I probably should. So we'll have that up on the website.
You already have your hierarchy of.
It's a.
Or
look, shit. I'm not gonna.
Yes, I want it in crayon. Can you do it in crayon, please?
Yeah, I mean, I have it in both a bar graph and a pie graph form.
And a pie chart. Of course you do.
So,
like a full-on PowerPoint presentation. We'll put it on Instagram. People will love this. Oh, God.
Oh, yes. All right. Well, so, all right, you're on. Let's make that happen. Anyway, this is a very, very solid cider. It's a 6.7%. So, respectable as far as ciders go. And just an easy drinker. God, I definitely could see myself sitting out on the shores of a river and fishing and enjoying a couple of these. It's super good, very refreshing.
Well,
What do you
sounds
got
good.
going on over there?
I have Surly Brewings, 16th anniversary. This is a gnarly barrel-aged imperial red ale. Raspberries and strawberries are added to it. Your red ales are typically going to be, they're going to look light. They're going to feel a little bit, they're bitter, they're angry. An imperial is even more bitter and more angry. We'll just say it that way. But this one's barrel aged, and I've been looking forward to this one. I've had this one for a little bit. It's got a lot of pepper to it. Oof.
We both went pepper.
Yeah. Very bitter, very hateful. Lives up to the brewer's name. I would say it's actually a very smooth beer, but it also has a lingering aftertaste. You better really like red ales. I like it. I like it a lot. Take another drink. So it actually has quite a funkiness to it.
Okay,
Almost a little bit of Brett.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Is how are the fruitiness of the raspberry puree that's in there, strawberry raspberry, but then the malty. How is that mixing? And I guess it's coming out not skunky, but kind of in the moderate area of.
It's not a sweet raspberry. It's not a candy raspberry. It's a very it's a bitter raspberry. Not unpleasant, but it is definitely bitter. And then when you add the mulch, or not the mulch, that'd be nice. The malt to it, and honestly, it actually has some German textures to it too, which that's the Vienna and the Munich malts that are in there. Wow, it's just an angry beer. It's an angry beer. It's
incredible that they can get a 12.5%er out of a red. That's, I mean, you're talking, that's imperial stouts. That's, Russian imperial stout numbers, even like barley wine numbers. So, what a pretty can too. That's really beautiful. It's just black and gold with the dragon on there. That's fucking rad.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous can. Great artwork, and it's typical Surly Brewing. So, let's see. It is. They used, Parker's Heritage Wheat Whiskey barrels, Elijah Craig 12-year bourbon barrels, and a handful of ruby port casks. That is why it is so complex. Wow. Just a lot going on there. I'm curious how that's going to be as it warms up. So we'll be talking about this for quite a while.
Yeah. That's interesting. Just a side note, funny little thing. One of my stupid little dumb facts that I know, but might be interesting. On the can there, you see that the dragon has 4 claws. Depending on, and basically it's when Chinese culture made it to different islands. But you can basically tell where a dragon is from by how many claws it has. So Chinese dragons can have 2 to 5 claws. I mean, they can be anywhere in that number, but Korean dragons always have 4 and Japanese dragons always have 3. So that's based off of, and that's more of a phoenix actually that you're looking at there, but it's still based off of that dragon claw. And so it's most likely Japanese because it has the 3 in front and the 1 in back. So I'm just talking about the 3 in front. So 4 total, but the 3 in front, that's most likely based on like a Japanese phoenix. Could be Chinese too, but anyway, just a dumb fact I'll throw out there. We can edit that out later.
All right. So let's go ahead and go out to our sponsors real quick. We've got a ton to get to. Before the show, we were talking to PorhstacheCast, who gave you a shout out, by the way. About your beer reviews and how sexual they are and how like, wow. So keep that shit up. You did a nice job tonight, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking to PorhstacheCast, and we've actually got 33 33 different topics that we could get to.
Yeah, we'll never get to them all.
No.
But in fact, last week, one of the biggest ones that we tried to get to, we still didn't get to, which was the satanic church that's giving abortions. But so we try and get to as many as we can. But obviously, all of the links are going to be there on the show notes, or you can just go look them up yourself. Nothing we're talking about is made up. I mean, it's what we find through the week. So, go out there and do your own damn research, kids.
All right, here are our sponsors. We'll be back with you guys in just a minute. All right, so let's go to housekeeping. We've got a lot to do this week.
Yeah.
Big thank you to Tabby and Mike at Gray's Taproom. They've altered their previous show. They were happy hour. Made some changes, and they actually had us on this week, and we could not appreciate them allowing us to soil their airwaves just a little bit.
Yeah, what a fun show. We got to talk about our favorite soundtracks, movie soundtracks, and I just really great. That's a fun subject anyway. But I felt like our discussion was really just fun. I mean, we agreed on a lot, but we also disagreed on a lot, which I think made for, it kept the conversation sort of lively and fun. And I really appreciated them not only inviting us on, but also, God, they just, you just feel the love when you're on with them. And that's fun. It's not just like, hey, it's clinical and you're on and now goodbye. It's like, hey, none of us really wanted it to end. And so we'll be back on their show. I think once McShane and I decide to pull the trigger and actually start having guests on our show, they will be some of the first, because they're good radio and smart people, fun to talk to. So yeah, thanks for having us on. Can't wait to do it again.
You guys can find them on Amazon. Wow. I mean, everywhere, right? I mean, let's see. They're on Spotify, Apple Music. You can find them anywhere the podcasts are. You're going to be able to find them. But you can also go to @Gray's Taproom Pod on Twitter. Follow them there, and obviously check out their patreon.com/Gray's Taproom Pod for some extra content that they are putting out for folks. Comedian Rick Cordero reached out to us this week on Twitter. That was pretty rad. Great follow. Down to earth. Loves bringing up, I'm not going to say conspiracy theories because it's all coming true. Just a little bit of a conservative mind, but never rude, and very funny. Very, very, very funny.
Yes.
So big shout out.
Yeah, he's spot on. His comedy's spot on. So yeah, thanks for reaching out to us. We actually had a really, I don't know what's changed. Maybe it's us. Maybe it was the fact that we showed up last week's show a bit surly. But we got a lot of Twitter engagement this week based off of our podcast, not just off of polls that we put out or whatever. So huge shout out to everybody who kind of interacted with us. We love that. It's one of our favorite parts about doing this podcast is just the community involvement. So that was awesome. Thank you.
John Hilla of Mind Over John Pod. Thanks for following us. The Band Chief. Very, very funny. Great memes, guys. He knows what it's all about.
Oh yeah, he's spot on.
Chris Bohannon of Unfit Heroes. Thanks for listening. Hell yes or hell no podcast. These guys are always reaching out to us, as well as Manly Movies. Always giving us shout outs from week to week to week, and we just really appreciate it.
Agreed.
Okay, so we had some stupid shit that we wanted to go ahead and go through, and some of it actually is going to be revolving around the Biden administration. Some of that is going to come from the State of the Union. Should we just go ahead and knock that out real quick? Because it wasn't real eventful, but it kind of was.
Yeah, it wasn't eventful because Joe fell asleep or he said something outrageous. It was eventful for all the shit that was going on around him and behind him. And yeah, so yeah, let's jump into that. I mean, Wow, what a week.
So, first of all, there was no doubt about it that this State of the Union was the whole reason for doing it wasn't just to give a State of the Union. It was to announce that he's running for president again. That's what everything was. It was boilerplate. It was all we need to do this, and this. Nothing about how he's going to get any of it done. Just stuff that he thinks is really, really important. So, as I was sitting there watching it at the bar, drinking, and I was just like shaking my head back and forth that this is one, I'm sitting here watching this because I probably shouldn't have been. It really wasn't worth it. And then you start seeing all the things that you were actually missing while, the camera was off, or, you didn't catch this camera angle or whatever.
Right.
And then shit got really, really interesting. He was heckled for saying that Trump added 25% to the national debt. That wasn't true. Nope. He also said that Republicans wanted to, or a certain group of Republicans wanted sunset Medicaid, Medicaid and
Medicare,
Social Security. Yep. That they want to go ahead and get rid of it. The uproar when he said that was unreal, and it was one plan by I think the Senator Mike Lee. He was in the news. We covered him.
We did
a few months back
ago.
for some stupid shit that he did. And apparently there was a story there was a proposition that he had out there. So he was the only one, so Biden took an enormous amount of shit, in the chamber for when that came up. So I thought those two items were really interesting, but everything after that, it was just boilerplate bullshit.
And I mean, this is the part that I don't understand with these kind of gaffes. The one specifically, what you just said, the Mike Lee sponsored bill, that I believe it's not even that he wants to do away with Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. He just wants to reduce it. That people that are on it right now don't get as much as what they're already getting, which my mom is on it. I know your mom is on it. I mean, we're at that age. I don't want those benefits lessened at all. But either way, this dude puts this out there. But my point is, Joe, Mr. Biden, do you not have a speechwriter, some staff that might be researching these things before you say them? Or is this just Joe shooting off the fucking hip and they can't get him to shut his mouth? I mean, I just feel like he's trying to pick a fight that really isn't even there. It's just bizarre that he would say something like that, and that would be one of the keynotes of his State of the Union, because it's completely false. Crazy.
And it's more division from him. And he was supposed to be the moderate. He was supposed to be the one who's going to be able to reach across the, across the middle of the room and bring, kumbaya and all this kind of bullshit. And it's just more divisiveness, kind of like when he gave that speech in front of the Washington Monument, and it was all creepy and red and all dark and gloomy. It was fucking Dark Brandon
Imperial.
was out. Yeah. And it was just more bullshit like that. And I'm sorry, that's not. I voted for the guy, and I expected something completely different. I expected a moderate. We've gotten just a left-wing fucking old man that just needs to go, needs to not do this anymore. He's done.
Yeah. Enough's enough. So the tomfoolery from the peanut gallery, let's get to that.
So would you make out with Jill Biden if you had a chance? Actually,
and this is not the cider talking, I absolutely would. I would totally make out with her. I think I actually think she's fucking smoking. I mean, especially when I don't know how old she is, but if you take that into account, which I know we shouldn't, but I'm going to be that guy, and I'm going to say that for her age, she's a total smoke show. And so no, I don't even need to be drunk for that one. I would totally make out with her. Now, would I want to be, doing anything past maybe second or third base? I don't know. That's what second and third base are for. You're kind of feeling your way in. Is this where I want to be, or are the juices not flowing? So I can never just say, yeah, we're going all the way to home plate when I don't know.
I think Jill's juices flow quite a bit, and it might be for Mr. Kamala Harris.
And by the way, Jill has been married before. She knows her way around a baseball diamond. She's this is not her first rodeo. So she's 71. So Come on, dude. That's a good looking 71-year-old is all I'm gonna say.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So can we? So the actual event. Okay, I know back east things are different. I totally get it. Like but I don't. I mean, because you know my ex, like all of her family's back east. So when I would walk in, with the women, you kiss them on both their cheeks. They were an Italian family, so you kiss the cheeks. This was full on lips on lips. And if you look at what is his name, Kamala Harris's husband, that's all I ever see. I don't know his fucking name. He's like a no name.
I'm trying to find.
And what do you call him? Because like there's the first lady.
He's the second man.
Is he the second man? Imagine that's your title.
I think he's the Doug Emhoff. Doug Emhoff is his name.
Introducing the second man of the United States. Anyway, the look on his face afterwards is like, oh shit, I just kissed a hottie.
Oh,
legit. Like he was like, ooh.
It was either that or oh, we shouldn't have done that now.
Yeah. I'm gonna just right on national television.
I
Oops.
Just kissed her on the lips.
And then he totally does kind of he does put his hand on her shoulder, but it's kind of the hover hand. He's like, okay, I need to watch my boundaries here. He doesn't quite touch her, but he's just kind of escorting her. And notice she goes butt to crotch there when she goes around him. You don't think there was some rubbing going on there?
Does she give a little grind?
I think so.
She kind of leaned in a little bit.
That's what the look on his face was. Ooh, whoa, hey, Jill. Smack that booty, girl.
I wonder what the hobbit next to him saw.
She is tiny, isn't she? Is she still sitting down?
She's a very little person. No. She's about 4'2".
And we did our research in Vegas. Anybody under 4'10" is actually a little person.
Yeah,
so
I think she's a little person. How tall is Jill?
Good for her. Jill's got to be, go back to that page. She's got to be what, 5'8", 5'9"?
She looks tall.
I love that we can literally go on the internet and find this shit out. How tall is Jill Biden?
Jill Biden height 5'6".
Hey, I'm gonna. 5'6".
She's 5'6". That lady next to her that was a midget.
Oh, she might not even be 4 foot.
Totally, that was a Lilliputian.
But of course, Jill had on heels. I'm sure of it.
No, she totally did. But that woman is not.
That woman probably also had heels on though.
She probably did. And I wonder if that's Emhoff's mom.
Oh, it could be. Anyway, right, the kiss itself was fucking weird.
The kiss itself was extremely strange. It was very personal. And I love that everybody's like actually done a lot of work in getting the close-ups.
The editing.
I even went back. Yeah, it's this is what it is. So I'm as long as she's getting it, because she knows she's not getting it from Joe. I question Joe's virility at this point, his wife.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think perhaps when Joe's taking a nap, she might slip him a suppository Viagra or something, and then just mounts him. But beyond
Turn
that,
him into a sex doll?
Yeah, basically you're fucking a corpse. Beyond that, I mean, I don't see her as the necrophiliac type.
No.
So she might as well be stepping out and getting some from, what's his name? Edward?
Doug Emhoff.
Doug. Yeah. Doug. Yeah, see, Doug is just a cheater's name anyway. Sorry for all the Dougs out there, but that's a cheater's name.
You know what, though? If he was married to Kamala and somebody who had their face was actually peeling away from their body, I might do this too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutly.
We've seen the video from her this week.
Yeah, okay. So that's the next the next thing we need to talk about, which was weird. But I will say, between Kamala and Jill's way, way more. She's way hotter.
No, I completely agree. Kamala.
And
Harris,
usually, like
face.
I like a darker skin, but Kamala's face, and then you know what? And then she opens her mouth, and the dumb shit that comes out of her mouth, I still can't believe. I want a court challenge. I still can't believe she graduated from law school. I want to know what she did, who her dad paid off, or who she had sex with. How did she graduate law school? Because if you really listen to the words that come out of her mouth, she'll talk for about 5 minutes, and she says her vocabulary is about 12 words. It's all she gets out. It's 12 different words, and she just uses them over and over and over.
Apparently, and not to be disparaging, but one of the theories is that she spent a lot of time sleeping her way to the top.
That's what I'm saying.
In California. So it's completely plausible that college was the same way. Which good on her for. I mean, she made it work, right? She's the VP.
Okay.
No.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. I was speechless there for a minute because you're right. I mean, you can't argue against something that works.
I can't find Kamala Harris's weird neckline. No.
Well, you keep spelling her name wrong, so it's not going to come up. You got Camel there. Camel Harris. It's kind of this whole thing and this whole philosophy that's kind of out there in the martial arts world. Like you can knock karate for whatever. You can knock taekwondo. You can say that jujitsu is not for this or You know what? All that matters is if you can defend yourself and put the other dude down, it doesn't matter what the fuck you train. No one's going to be like, ooh, he did Dragon Tail and he did that move and no one's going to fucking care. The fact is you won. And so I can't argue against Kamala's, philosophy on getting to the top. If she slept her way there or if she paid some people off or whatever, I don't know. But look at that. Okay, we have a Hefe sighting. Hefe, your timing could not be better. What's up, man?
Oh, not much. What are you guys doing?
We're talking about Kamala Harris's weird neck.
Oh, I never saw that.
Oh, you didn't? Oh,
No.
Well, put your glasses on, old man, and look at this.
All right.
I say as I'm sitting here wearing my glasses. There's something weird going on there. That looks like a mask, no?
It looks like a dude. Does she have an Adam apple?
It looks like she has gills to me.
Right back here?
My wife tried to tell me like, no, that's just like loose skin that's hanging off. I'm sorry. That usually hangs off. That hangs off the jowls. That hangs off the you get a turkey neck or whatever. You don't get it back there like that. Unless she's been doing like some neck exercises or something.
Cringing?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that would do it.
Maybe it's the back and forth motion that she's having to do
No,
so much
Joe,
of.
do not say that. No. Yeah, you're right. That would build up the neck. I'm doing it right now, and I'm like, wow, that builds up the neck.
You're doing the neck blowjob motion, or are you doing the
that one.
back and forth?
Oh, that one. I'm saying no back and forth, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, BJ's would do it too, I guess.
Anyway, are we saying she's a lizard person or something? Are we saying it's a completely different person? What are we saying here? Because this is definitely an oddity. All jokes aside.
Right. All jokes aside, I think, it's funny because people immediately came out when they were like, oh, that's a deep fake. And it's like, no, that's the actual footage from ABC, NBC. Everybody was covering it. That's how her neck actually looked. I mean, it looks like, remember the movies where they would like break somebody's neck and then you'd go see them afterwards and it would be all deformed? That's what her neck looks like, but all the time.
Jesus.
That is bizarre looking.
Isn't it?
How's your night going, Heffy? Have you seen any aliens out there on the out in the North 40 there?
No, it's busy, but it's shitty busy. It's not going very well yet.
It's
only
everybody
half-
who's come from out of town, right? I mean, it's all the out of towners that are being dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
everybody's there for you got the Super Bowl going on, and you also have the I hate to even say it, the Waste Management PGA event going on out there. I hate that Waste Management is the one that's sponsoring that thing, but whatever. I guess even garbage men got to get paid.
Right.
But so you got a lot of out of town clientele in there, huh?
Yeah, a bunch. I mean, even us out here in outskirts, we're getting a lot. So it's kind of cool seeing a couple of celebrities here and there.
Yeah, didn't you deal 3-card to an ESPN
I did.
personality?
Huh? Yeah. There was a few of them here, I guess. But they're here for the Super Bowl, but it's like the complete opposite end of the town. It's
Right.
And I was talking to them about because they've obviously been to multiple Super Bowls. I said, "Is this like one of the best cities to do it?" And they said, "It's just so spread out." They kept saying that, like, yeah, it's got cool stuff and it's a nice weather and all that, but it's so sprawled out compared to most cities that host a Super Bowl. It's kind of more, yeah.
So can you say who the biggest names that you've seen, or can you say that, or no? You got to keep it pretty quiet.
I guess. I mean, they're just here for the Super Bowl. I saw like Trey Wingo he used to be on ESPN.
Yep.
And I was dealing to Kenny Mayne. He was one of my favorite anchors back in the day.
Yeah, I loved the main event. That was one of my favorite shows. Yeah.
His sense of humor, like dry and sharp, I loved it. Like,
yep.
And he is so funny because he would drop a couple of them at the table.
Like, was he really?
Yeah, I mean, nobody recognized him really. He did look a little different, but once he started talking, I knew it was him. And he had a good hand and I had a better hand. Well, that's unfortunate. That's something he used to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool dealing with him, and it was just me and him for about half of the down, about 10 minutes. So I was just talking to him about Super Bowl stuff, and he's telling me some of the bits that they were doing, and I don't know what platform he's on now. I don't really watch TV anymore, so I don't see Sports Center. I mean, just stuff that's on TV at work, but I don't know where his stuff is. But I'd like to find it because he's good.
Yeah. I always liked him a lot. I don't know if he's on ESPN anymore. I know that Disney and Disney Plus and ESPN Plus have both been losing viewership like the fucking Titanic taking on water. I mean, it's bad. Disney's in a bad spot right now. So maybe he jumped ship and saw that coming and is doing his own thing. I don't know. Because I'm the same way. I don't watch ESPN anymore. I'm not going to fucking pay whatever it is, $12.99 a month for it. I just didn't watch it that much,
So yeah. I'm actually going to post this to chat for you to see, Hefe, when you've got time to look. But this is one of the things that he's working with. It's Run Freely. This is a organization that he founded in 2018 with him and his wife. Oh. Kenny suffered a catastrophic ankle injury, fracture dislocation, playing football for UNLV. He spent years walking and running in pain despite numerous surgeries and physical therapy treatments. It wasn't until 2017 when he was fitted for what he refers to as a magical device that he almost instantaneously found himself both walking and running pain-free for the first time in 20 years. So what they do is it's actually a 501c3 and they help people get prosthetics.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
That is
wow.
fucking cool. And that's
good for you, Kenny.
One of the absolute funniest sportscasters, smart dude.
Yeah.
Super quick-witted.
Yep.
Yeah, just awesome. So go to runfreely.org and check out the site. There's donations you can do. Just really great stuff.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. You got to deal to him, Hefe, and then also good find on you, McShane. That's fun. That's really I love feel good stories like that. That's really good.
Good shit.
Predictions for tomorrow's big game?
Yeah, Hefe, you said you had you have an actual score picked out, right? So you said that in a video earlier today. I'm like, shit, I gotta up my game. So I spent a little time. I've got a score. You both gonna laugh at it, but I don't care. It's the score that I'm coming up with, and we'll just see. But go ahead, Hefe. What do you got?
I've been all over the place with this, and well, as you guys know, I nailed it last year.
Yes, you did.
But that was
nailed it.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
On the ride home from work at 2:30 in the morning on Saturday night before Super Bowl. I was driving. I came up with my scores, and I still couldn't pick a winner between Cincinnati and the Rams, but I picked a score for each one winning, and I hit the Rams one, so that's pretty sweet. But this one, I mean, this one is tough. This is a tough one to pick. It's tough. It's tough to nail a roundabout, total too, because I could see it being kind of a game like the Niners and Chiefs were a few years ago the Buccaneers and the Chiefs a few years ago when they just shut Mahomes down and he couldn't do anything. I think it was 31-9, something like that. But I could also see it being, 34-27. So I'm just kind of throwing out that I think the Eagles will win, and I'm going to go 27-17.
Okay, so you're under the current over under then too.
Yeah,
because right now they're at 50.5, and Eagles are favored by 1.5. So interesting. All right, Fitz, what are you thinking?
I think it's going to be an absolute total blowout by the Eagles. I'm going 37-13.
That's what I was just saying. It could be. Looks like the Buccaneers one. I mean,
yeah,
Mahomes couldn't do in that game.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be a 1 or 2 point game, or it's going to be a total blowout. And because I'm an Eagles fan, I got to go blowout. So yeah, 37-13.
You know what's interesting is the line when it came out was 1.5 for the Eagles, and the over under I think was 50 or 49.5, and the 1.5. I haven't seen it move anywhere. I don't know if it has.
No, it hasn't. And not in the last week, at least.
Yeah,
which is weird with the amount of money.
It is weird. Yes.
Bet on it.
Yep.
But the over under has gone up a little bit. I think it's up to 50.5 or 50 now. So, right. But yeah, that's kind of. Go ahead, Steve.
I'm gonna go 31-17 Chiefs.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
All right. You heard it here first, folks. Yeah.
We are all over the place, which is good. That's all right.
Yeah, Oh, go ahead.
Go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I saw a preview for a documentary. I haven't watched it yet, but it was basically like the title of it is Maybe Next Year. And it's all about when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. What was that? 8 years ago? 7 years ago?
It wasn't that long ago.
It was 5 years ago. I think.
5? Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were building their team to maybe win next year. They weren't building it to win that year, but then they just found themselves in the Super Bowl and they ended up winning. And so you just never know. You just never know. You think you're going to do it in a couple years. You're building it for a couple years later or next year, and then boom, it everything clicks at the right time, and you end up winning. So who knows? Anything can happen in these games.
And that was with their backup quarterback.
Exactly.
And I remember that. I remember that first game was, I think their first playoff game was against Atlanta. But Philly was the 1 seed, and I believe they were underdogs because they lost their starting quarterback, or it was a really close spread. Yeah. Not like a 1 seed versus the bottom seed should have been. And they pulled that game off and they just rolled through it, man. That was impressive.
Yeah.
Who was their quarterback? Dick Foles?
Folds was the back. Yeah.
Oh, yep. Nick Foles.
Nick.
I said Dick.
Yep.
Dick Foles.
So that was that was one of.
Stop looking at porn, Steve.
That was one of Carson.
It's not the second beer yet.
45. Yeah, Carson Wentz's team that he took to the.
That's right. Yeah. And hey, just quickly for all of our fans out there who are wondering what's going on with Hefe's voice. No, he did not swallow a frog. Hefe's a little bit under the weather, but this is the kind of man that is part of Whiskey Hell. This man not only showed up for work, but is also showing up for the podcast tonight, even though he's not feeling great. So, Hefe, you are getting my second cheers of the night. Thanks for showing up and contributing, man. It's awesome.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I mean, work would have taken a hit if it wasn't blackout day. The show was never in jeopardy.
Oh, well, this first beer is for you, Hefe.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right on. All right, well, I got to get back in.
All right, brother. Well, we'll see you next break, and hopefully we're sober enough to keep talking.
Sounds like a plan. I like it.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
So with that, let's go ahead and bounce out to our sponsors real quick. Well, then we'll come back and get into a little bit more news before we hit beer 2. Sound like a plan?
Excellent. Love it.
All right. Fitz, we have a ton to get through. And I feel like we've already had, well, it's already been 40 minutes. Jesus. All right, or 50 minutes.
Let's start
slaying some of these things, right?
Yeah, let's rifle through quick thoughts and then move on.
Quick thoughts on the IRS using 87,000 new IRS agents to not go after 400,000 families that make over $400,000 a year. Under Jesus Christ. Take 2. Tip reporting. The IRS, they'll be going after people who collect tips. Thoughts?
Yeah, well, and of course we know it's bullshit. They want to know every transaction on, Venmo or PayPal or any of those. Anything over $600, they want reporting on that. So you already knew they were coming after the small guy, the little guy. And these, people who make money off of their tips, I don't give a shit what anyone says, because I've obviously Hefe, our best friend, lives and dies off of his tips. I've dated waitresses. We've had friends that were waiters. These people live and die off of their tips. Literally a bad night, 1 or 2 bad nights can fuck your whole month. You can't make rent. You can't buy food. Or you have a really, really good couple of nights and you don't have to go to work the rest of the month because you made some really good tips. I mean, it's that big of a difference. And now the IRS wants to make sure that everybody is reporting every single cent they get. And of course, we all know, and this is one of the reasons that I like to tip in cash, because not everybody reports every cent that they were tipped in cash. And I like that. I like being able to give something I've earned to someone else and they don't have to report it to the government. I love that. Well, you just wait until the CBDCs come out. We won't be able to do that anymore. Every single cent will be tracked by some fucking black tie in Washington. And you watch these people get raped. I mean, being able to make, let's say, well, let's use my mom, for example. Sometimes in her business, she might be able to pull off a certain amount of money every year, but only reports a certain amount because a lot of it was tips in cash. Now she's going to have to report all of that, which means she's going to get taxed more, which means she's going to end up making even less, which is not cool. Not cool at all.
There's going to have to be a way. Otherwise you're going to lose your whole service industry.
You are absolutely right, McShane. That's the point right there. That's, if we're not careful, we're going to lose all of these people because, people aren't stupid. They're going to do the math and they're going to go, why would I do this? I mean, everything from the cute little bartenders that are putting themselves through college, strippers putting themselves through college. Yep. I mean, you're going to lose that entire subset. The cute guy behind the bar that, wows all the ladies on the bachelorette party. He could make $1,000 in a night because he just has the smile for it. Well, now that's all taxed at 40% or whatever the fuck. So no, this is a recipe for disaster. And you're right. People will find a way to get around it. They'll pay each other. I don't know what, in sexual favors or in eggs, like, hey, here, you don't have to report this half dozen hard-boiled eggs I just gave you. I don't know. People will figure out a way around this, but fuck you, IRS. Like, you're not getting enough money already to give to Ukraine. You want to take more money from us to give to Ukraine? Fuck you. God. It's maddening.
Suspected white supremacists arrested in plot to attack power stations, destroy Baltimore.
Yeah, so
you didn't have this one on the bingo card.
No, my bingo card didn't have this one either, nor did it have aliens over Montana, but that's another, we'll get to that. You found this story. So go ahead and talk about this more. I read the story, but I'm not understanding what these two were trying to accomplish. I mean, yes, the downfall of Western civilization, but really, what were they trying to do?
It seems to me, it's the whole lone wolf narrative, right? That we see occasionally, somebody going totally rogue. And I can't remember if this is the same one, because there was another one that was, this is what she wanted to do on her deathbed. I think she's dying of cancer or something, so she wanted to go and take something out. I can't remember if it's her or if that was somebody in Britain.
I don't remember that being a part of this story. These were the neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
These two. Yeah.
Russell's quoted in court documents saying that attacking power transformers is the greatest thing somebody can do. He accused of providing instructions and location information for the substations he had Clendaniel allegedly sought to target as part of their plot, federal prosecutors said. Yeah, they wanted to go ahead and take down infrastructure, which this isn't like, it's not hard to do. And I'm not saying that you can drive down the street and you can see what you can see, right? It's not rocket science. And I'm not condoning anybody do that, because it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a neo-Nazi group. Atomwaffen was incarcerated with the first Clendaniel, and both were out on probation as they coordinated their plans to attack the energy facilities, according to the affidavit in the case unsealed on Monday.
Yeah, they were going to go after a nuclear plant too.
Yeah,
which I think that would be considerably more difficult to attack. To your point, because I read the story and then I was driving in a certain part of town here, which I won't, in case anybody's listening and is getting any crazy ideas, but there's a pretty major substation in downtown Eugene that is literally, I shit you not, there's a chain link fence around it, no barbed wire up top. It's a 6-foot chain link fence. Pretty and common. The gate was open. When we drove by, I was like, did you see that? The fucking gate was open. I mean, anybody could walk in there and fucking put a safety pin in there, and yeah, they'd be dead, but the city would go black.
Well, a kid could walk in there and do something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really fucking terrible.
It's nuts.
Anyway, so I thought that was interesting from a national terrorism perspective, especially since we're on Super Bowl Sunday coming up here. We already had some really weird stuff pop up. This came up on the radar, and just the Yahoo News article you guys can go ahead and check out. Yeah, just I think, unfortunately, as civilization continues to devolve the way it has been and things get tougher, you're going to see more groups that are going to be interested in doing things like that. And
speeding up the downfall.
or trying to.
Yeah, right.
Train derailment in Ohio.
Yeah, dude, I actually have a kind of a heavy piece to this story that kind of came up from my wife. She tries to basically stay away from the the heavy stuff in the news, and I do all the heavy lifting, and I kind of I clue her in on the things that probably need to be, that she needs to know about, and then the other stuff that we're going to talk about on the show. Yeah, right, like aliens. I try and not keep it from her, but just ease her into it, and or she doesn't need to know that right now, so let's not keep things heavy. Anyway, this was one of the stories that I was like, look at what the fuck happened. Well, anyway, let's talk about what happened, but then I'll tell you kind of where she came into this, and it brings this story home on just a different emotional level that I didn't even consider. So let's talk about the story, though.
So a state of emergency has been issued to residents in East Palestine, Ohio, following a 50-car train derailment that led to a massive fire, with officials urging residents to evacuate. So this has been ongoing since February 5th. It's been going on for quite some time now.
Jesus.
And during the week, they actually ended up having to explode some of the cars just to make sure that the chemicals erupted and they burned off. Now, this is on the heels of what was considered to be a terrible calamity. The railroad workers going on strike.
Right.
Then you see things like this, and this isn't the first time in the last few months that there's been a train derailment. It happens way too often. And I know you found a TikTok piece, and I should post that I'll see if I can go back and find it and post it to show notes. But really, really fantastic piece. Well done, indie operator or indie journalist that brought this up. And it was just really sobering to know that these, quite possibly, if accurate, these are things that can be avoided. It comes down to maintenance. It comes down to poor preparation, poor safety, and railroads just don't give a shit.
Yep. Yeah, because they're all owned by BlackRock and Vanguard, and they're looking at the bottom line and they're saying, hey, you guys need to be profitable. And so in that particular TikTok video, one thing that really stuck out to me is he was talking to one of the railroad safety guys, and the guy was like, well, it used to be a mandate that we had to spend 3 minutes per car checking it for all these safety things per car, 3 minutes. He said, now that's down to 90 seconds per car. And that's probably not even happening because they want them to get through these trains so quickly. So they cut the safety time in half at least. And then, of course, what was the cause named for this derailment was bad bearings on one of the axles.
One of the axles.
Yeah. So one of the axles overheats, goes bad, which would have been caught if they had done a full-on safety inspection. And so Joe comes out and he's like, hey, yes, we've settled the rail workers strike, which they did, but at what cost? To what detriment to society are we looking at here when a catastrophe like this happens? And you go, well, probably that could have been prevented if we'd had the proper safety checks in place. That to me is the story. That's it right there.
And they also, this railroad, PRS? I think it's PRS. Didn't even send anybody to the scene for the derailment from management. They just sent some freaking railway supervisor to go out there and run cover for them. That's how blatant, how absolutely devoid of any responsibility that these companies are.
How much they don't give a fuck about you and me, about the little guy. So that kind of brings in the human side of the story. So my wife follows on Instagram this it's a great follow. It's called Juniper Fox. And it's this woman who runs a rescue, an animal rescue for mostly foxes, but she has a lot of other animals. But it was named after this first fox that she found, Juniper Fox. And then now she has a bunch of these foxes that she rescues for various reasons. They've been abandoned by their mothers. They've been caught in traps, whatever. She's got a friend who is running another rescue in Palestine, Ohio. And when this derailment happened, the police nearly arrested him for trying to go back in and rescue his animals. But they escorted him off of his property. He had to sneak back on and got to save a few of the animals, but many of his animals perished from the toxic fumes from this thing. So there's like actual real fallout. This isn't just a derailment out in the middle of nowhere and nobody gets affected. There were people around who are going to, who knows, in years maybe have cancer, have major health problems, plus all these rescue animals that he had on his farm, on his property. Many of them perished. Some of them made it into the house, but they're sick. They're not doing well. He's going to have major vet bills. They started a GoFundMe account to try and help pay for the vet bills. It's a major thing for a lot of people. And also that BlackRock and or Vanguard or whoever the fuck, some rich asshole gets to make, a 5% profit as opposed to a 4% profit this year. It's just unbelievable. It's sickening when you start digging on this shit. It is maddening. It makes you want to just go jump off a cliff. Like, what the fuck? It's terrible. Anyway,
I'm looking up to
that's
see
the
who
human
actually,
side of it.
I want to make sure of the actual train, because now you've got me curious about who actually owns this thing.
Jesus. It threw deadly shrapnel as far as a mile away from the explosion.
Yeah.
A mile away. People don't have a concept of how far a mile is, but it's a lot longer than a football field. Holy shit.
I can't find.
Well, I mean,
which actually tells you a lot.
I was going to say, you're on CNN. Yep, you're on CNN.
And they're not showing who actually owned the train.
Nope. I mean, that you're right. That says so much. My God. We're living in a world right now where the facts are what we say they are. And by we, I mean, the government or whoever the fucking spooks are that are, it's not that the truth isn't like what you and I can go out and look up, because what we're looking up it's been filtered. It's been altered. Shit's been suppressed. So we can't find it. I mean, this is the world we're living in. And sometimes you can dig as deep as you want and you'll still never find the truth.
Well, that's why we do the show, though. To call out bullshit.
It is. You're
exactly
right. You're right.
Like this.
NTS. Oh, no, that's National Transportation Board.
Yeah, I still haven't come across it.
And you will not. Wow. That is interesting. Now, you're hearing this real time, folks. We're trying to look up who owns this.
One reference, Norfolk Southern.
Okay.
One reference. It took me
at
all
the
the way
very
down
end
to
of the article.
it is the third to last article, or third to last paragraph. Who owns railroad?
74.24%. There you go.
There you go. Vanguard.
Bam. 74% Vanguard. So fuck you, Vanguard. Fuck you and your PR people and your people that handle messes like this and are going to smooth it over and pay off the right people.
8.17% of the company's owned by Vanguard. Still
okay, but look,
massive
no,
size.
I'm saying 74% is institutional. Who do you think those institutions are?
Amazing.
Wow.
Oh, I love this.
Good God, man.
And we do this for stocks too. Here you go.
Vanguard, BlackRock,
JP Morgan, State Street Corp, Lazard, Capital International Investors, Capital World Investors, Wells Fargo, Geode Capital Management, Northern Trust. There you go. This is
billions.
What we do.
Billions of dollars worth right there.
And it's way cheaper to pay for a train derailment than it is to, for people to actually spend another minute and a half inspecting cars.
Sure.
There you go.
Yep.
Let's go get our second beer.
Dude, I need it. I am so ready. I just, you're right. This is why we do the show. I love this shit. People need to know what's going on out there. Keep digging, people. You'll find it. You just can't take no for an answer. No, not these days. So keep digging. We're going to go dig up another beer here. I'm so excited for my second beer. It's right in my wheelhouse. I feel a mouthgasm coming on.
All right. Well, we better get after that. You better start working your way up to it.
Exactly. Go lube up.
We'll be back in a minute. All right, coming back for beer 2. So, Fitz, I have a barrel-aged stout called Pants Drunk.
Not drunk pants, but pants drunk, huh?
Pants Drunk. And it's a bear. Pour it out here. Laying on a couch. in his tighty whities.
Been there, done that.
You know?
Yeah. Well,
So,
that's kind of a pretty can.
but they're not showing the bear in his underwear. You
No.
pussies.
They're not.
Oh, God. All right. I'll just send it to you.
Pants drunk.
It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I agree. We've talked about it on the show before. It's one of our pet peeves. And listen, any brewers, all the brewers out there that are listening to Whiskey Hell, because I know a lot of you do. At least I hope a lot of you do. Update your sites. Get a decent site out there, because it's not just for the people that you want to go find your beers. It's for shows like ours that are trying to promote your beers. Even if we really like your beer, we have nothing to show anybody. And it's terrible. Come on, up your game. It doesn't take that much time. Do it right.
Don't bury the lead.
Right. Exactly.
Holy shit, this one's hot. Oh my God. This is boozy. Boozy.
Yeah.
Boozy as fuck. Oh my gosh. So, Pants Drunk started as a 9.5% ABV oatmeal stout, then sat in Telluride distilling whiskey barrels for a year, coming out of the barrels at 12.5%. Wow.
That's legit, dude. I mean, that's Telluride, man. That's where I learned how to snowboard.
And that's just a barrel-aged stout. It's not necessarily a barrel-aged imperial stout. I need to look at this a little bit closer. Pants Drunk is the Finnish tradition of drinking at home alone in your underwear. Not only do we think this is a great way to live your life in general, but now it seems like a responsible thing to do. And it turns out we made a beer particularly suited to the task. There you go. I get really super dark chocolate notes with a lot of oak. Very roasty. There's definitely some coffee to it. But the big thing I'm getting is the barrel is so hot. Woof. I want to see how this one's going to mellow out. It's going to need to mellow out. Like, I wish I had one that I could just cellar for like a year and see how that comes out.
Yeah. Because as that warms up, all you're going to get is more booze on that.
Oh, man. The smell is... It smells good. We're talking like chocolate and nature. It's just a weird way to put it, but it smells like chocolate and nature.
I get it. I mean, some of those imperial stouts get real earthy, like almost like you're drinking soil.
All right. Go. What do you have? Whoa.
So this is going to be one of those beers where they either tried to pack too much into this thing, or I'm going to be in beer sex heaven. So this is from Hop and Frog, which I've had a few of their beers in the past, and I've been happy with them. They're solid. They make a good beer, and they particularly make a good dessert beer. This is one of their newer offerings. This one is so stick with me here. Peanut butter, hazelnut, caramel, chocolate, cake stout. So the rich, decadent character of this gourmet cake-flavored stout will fill your senses with friendly, familiar flavors and aromas of yesteryear. Take a trip back in time and enjoy all the memories that our peanut butter, hazelnut, caramel, chocolate cake stout will invoke. All right. Sounds good, kids. I hope they didn't try and do too much on this one. Let's see. I have not tasted this yet, so here we go.
So Hop and Frog puts together a lot of beers that are they're technically very strong. I wouldn't say they're particularly inventive usually, but it's going to be a technically strong beer if you kind of picture what I'm saying.
Oh God. Oh shit. Okay. Here we go. Everybody ready for this one? This one's going to be the highlight for me tonight. I can tell you already. Holy shit. All right. So that scene in American Pie, the movie,
Yeah.
where he's, the dad walks in and he's actually fucking the pie. I would absolutely fuck this beer. I cold. I would fuck it cold. I would fuck its cold, dead corpse. I don't care. It's that good.
Why'd you need to make it dead?
Well, because it's cold,
Okay.
right? Most living things are, unless it's like a fish, I don't know, a reptile. It's Kamala Harris. That's what this is. But I really wouldn't, never mind. No, this is a tremendous beer. Okay. Heavy on the peanut butter up front. Peanut butter and hazelnut come in hot. Like it is really nutty up front.
So that's your base.
I'm gonna try and not make this too sexual from here on out.
It's okay. The nuts are the base. Yep.
A lot of nuts up front. Very nutty.
Yep.
Then the caramel, oozes down the back of your throat. I mean, just coats the back of your throat like a good girl should.
Yep. Tell me more.
Yep. And then the chocolate.
Slower.
The chocolate, McShane. The chocolate is where that dark, just queen.
Which part's throbbing? Because something has to be throbbing at this point.
All of it. All of it. Everything is
Pulsing?
throbbing right now.
Pulsing too?
It's pulsing. So you remember how they took the dick vein out of Snickers?
They put it in this?
This beer puts the dick vein back in your Snickers.
Oh.
This thing is delicious. Holy shit, it's good.
That's going at the front of the show. That's money. Thank you. There's the money shot, folks. We should probably just end the show on that.
That one was for Porn Stash right there. Love you guys, and thanks for listening. And that's about as sexual as I can get on this one. Seriously, though, go out and find this beer. Go out and find this beer. And like have this be your night ender. Like just go to bed with all of the sweet,
totally satisfied,
sugar plum dreams that it's going to give you. Oh yeah, completely satisfied.
Need a wet nap to get all the creases.
Yeah, well, a couple maybe. And I'm going to sleep like a fucking child tonight. Wow, so good. Anyway, well done, Hop and Frog. I actually have yet to have a bad beer from them. Like you said, They're technically sound. They're safe. But what they do well. Nice job. Wow.
All right. Before we get into our next bout of, we could take a couple. Let's do a couple of quick articles, real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Massive quakes in Turkey and Syria. We need to talk about this because it's almost 25,000 people that have died now. The devastation is just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's blocks and blocks and blocks of buildings just leveled. Like they weren't even. Yeah. It's like they weren't even there. I mean, I can't imagine worse.
No, it was kind of your worst case scenario because you had two really big ones. There was a 7.8 and then a 7.2. And then you've had aftershocks up to 6.8, 6.5, 6. So the sevens, what they didn't completely destroy, they weakened. So then you have all these big aftershocks coming, and that finished off the rest of the buildings. I mean, it is truly devastating to look at. Really, this kind of just shows, and again, the correlation between the coronal holes and earthquakes are pretty strong on this one. We did have a coronal hole turn in about 2 days before this all hit. And it takes about 2 days for what's going on with the sun to get to us here as far as the slower moving, coronal ejections and speed up of electrons and protons and stuff like that. So not to get too technical, but there was a pretty strong correlation between a big coronal hole, and these earthquakes. And what sucks is this is a pretty volatile area. You can have earthquakes in Turkey. But that set off a lot of what they call blot echoes around the Ring of Fire. So Argentina, Chile, a lot of South American stuff, a lot of Australia, New Zealand, Japan, all the way up around the Ring of Fire. All that's on super high alert for probably the next month, just because of what these earthquakes did in Turkey. That just shifted things enough that everything else is on high alert. So pretty devastating for the whole world, really. This wasn't just Turkey. Now, McShane, you brought up an interesting point. I was thinking it, and then you said it. 2 days before this, or was it 3 days? Very close to when this earthquake went off. Within 3 days, Turkey voted at NATO to not let, what was it, Norway, Sweden, and the Ukraine be part of NATO.
Yeah,
they said we won't budge on this. They're not going to be part of NATO. And so then, bam, the earthquakes hit. And then didn't they start closing consulates and stuff? I mean,
the consulates closed first.
That's what I'm. Yes,
3
exactly.
3 days before the quakes, all of a sudden the consulates all across the country, any foreign consulates there, they just started shutting doors
and sending people home.
Yeah.
So let's get our citizens out of there before possibly an earthquake could hit. Now, maybe they know what the sun was doing. And so they said, hey, this could be a major hotspot, which there was blot echoes going off. So maybe that could have been. Or maybe there is something to HAARP. And I know, again, we're going way off the rails here in conspiracy, and I'm going to put the little asterisks here. We're going to get the conspiracy theory tag on the podcast. I'm not advocating for that. But I was thinking it. You said it. What if? What if?
You can't rule it out now. I mean, HAARP's been talked about for years. It was a real study, and then suddenly it stopped.
Yeah, right.
Which
it's
means
an actual thing.
We're finally probably getting the results that they wanted. So, we should shut this down and never talk about it again. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but when you look at, do the math. You go ahead and tons of friendly governments go ahead and close shop and up and leave. And yeah, Turkey's going through a rough time economically. They're socially, it's awful. I mean, it's not a fun place. But to up and just remove your consulates out of the blue, out of nowhere, really strange timing. And then you have some of the worst quakes that have been seen on the planet suddenly start up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's suspect. Who knows?
I mean, it's like that whole it's a joke. And then people have now turned it into like a parable, but the guy's driving down the road in his car, and out of nowhere, this fucking baseball just bam nails his windshield, cracks his windshield, gets stuck halfway through. I mean, this thing hit hard. He slams on the brakes. He causes like an accident behind him. I mean, it's a big deal. And he gets out and he pulls the baseball out of his windshield, and he's like, "This is an act of God." And someone comes running from across the street. He's like, hey, can I have that baseball? Someone just hit it out of the park. Barry Bonds just hit it out of the park from behind me here. And it's like, okay, you can look at the baseball and be like, holy shit, this is an act of God and it's completely random. Or you can look at the fact that there was a fucking Major League Baseball game going on and Barry Bonds was at the plate. That's probably his ball. And so you can, all these coincidences, you can say it was a coincidence, or you can start looking at, God damn, man, that was probably Barry Bonds baseball. And so, again, we're not saying that this was a man-made disaster. What we're saying is there's so many coincidences lining up. Maybe it was Barry Bonds baseball, maybe it wasn't. But shit, if it wasn't, it's way random.
Or it's aliens.
Dude, I had the weirdest thought. So let's get to aliens right now, because I think we're there. We're at that point in the show where we just...
Should we go there now?
Let's do it. Let's do it, because I had the weirdest thought. I was, we took our break. We went and got our second beers. So I was out in the garage. I'm fumbling through my beer fridge, because I'm at that point in life where I have one of those now, which I never thought I would be.
Yeah.
And I just had this thought. It just hit me like a fucking bolt of lightning, which I will get to in a second. I'm going to make everybody wait for it, because let's talk about the day's events here. Let's hit it.
So the day starts off early this morning with a strange object being shot down over the Yukon. Well, this strange object is not only shot down, but as it falls to Earth, it shatters into a million pieces, and nobody knows what it is. So the Canadian government, Trudeau, takes it upon himself after he ordered the shooting down of the unidentified object. They're going to go out and they're going to find all these objects. Well, this all comes after the Chinese balloon incident last week.
Right.
And now we've got these weird Tic Tac looking things, which are the size of a small car. I think that's the way you termed it.
Yep. And coincidentally, that's what the Navy released film on a couple years ago, was that the Navy pilots, the FA-18 pilots, were seeing were these Tic Tac shaped things that could go in and out of the water at like Mach 1. They didn't obey the laws of physics as we understand them. And now here we go over Alaska, and which, by the way, again, these are completely remote places on the planet. Like, we're talking one person for every 50 miles. So, of course, they could have whatever story they want, and no one's out there to prove it or disprove it. It's just what they say. I just had to add that in. Go ahead.
So, well, no, that's you needed to, because we have to pick a really remote area, right? Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Where did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Devil's Tower, Wyoming. It makes total sense that this would happen out in the middle of nowhere. I totally get it. What I do find fascinating, though, is now that all of a sudden we're at this national emergency over it.
Yeah.
I'm currently you guys can go to flightradar24.com. Go and look at you can look at it historically and go back to, let's see, we're looking at 10, almost 11 o'clock at night. So you guys you should be able to rewind it back to that on Monday morning if you're listening to the show at that point. But you can look at it that there's no flights around this no-fly zone.
No.
that they've gone ahead and they posted. Now, they also, as I said at their very earlier part of the show, that they decided to stop all kinds of activity regarding whatever this new thing that's above us, because they can't see it at night, or they can't engage it at night. So they're going to start operations the next day. It's weird shit upon weird shit. You've got the theories out there that it's China. China's probing us. On the right, it's obviously a military action. On the left, I don't know. It might be RuPaul in a blimp. Who the fuck knows?
I hope it's RuPaul in a blimp. What did they call that? The Ru blimp?
The blimp Paul.
Either one works, dude.
I like the Ru blimp. The Ru blimp sounds fancy.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not knocking RuPaul.
No.
Fantastic talent. But anyway, this whole area around Lewistown, I think, or Herve?
Yeah, Hervre. Yeah, it's some kind of a hard word to pronounce, particularly when you're drinking.
Right around the Canadian border. That's where this latest thing has been seen. So we'll see what it's at tomorrow. But it's been very interesting to see. This is the narrative switch.
Yeah.
It's now we're all talking about defense. We don't want to talk about Ukraine. We don't want to talk about the IRS. We don't want to talk about the Fed. We don't want to talk about how the economy is shit.
Hunter's laptop.
We don't want to talk about Hunter's laptop. We certainly don't want to talk about eggs costing $77 a pop. But we need to go ahead. Now we need to make sure that Biden's a really strong wartime president, and he's shooting stuff out of the sky. I find the timing very strange happening after the State of the Union. I find it very strange that we've been saber rattling with China and we haven't gotten anywhere with it, and all of a sudden it looks like we have an opportunity to kind of exploit that. And I also find it very strange that Jeffrey Epstein's files are about to be let go, and now all of a sudden we've got to deal with aliens.
Bingo, 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 bingo.
Fox News article. Tonight, the last batch of documents with the names of those associated with deceased financier Jeffrey Epstein will be unsealed in the near future, according to media reports. Just going to let that hang.
Yep. No. Let it hang. And so then I'm gonna come in just fucking sliding into third base, right? Full sprint, and then slide with skin knees and everything. I'm out there in my beer fridge, and I just had this thought: aliens hover and or make themselves known at the Super Bowl tomorrow. The whole world's watching. Everyone's going to be watching.
Totally watching. Yep.
Everyone's going to be watching this fucking game, this stupid game where they throw around a fucking leather ball. And someone somewhere is going to be like, "Hey, what's that?" Oh, we have reports. Strange unidentified objects are hovering over Phoenix. We already had the Phoenix lights years ago.
Yep.
We both remember that. So It's already a known, area for UFOs, weird things going on. What if UFOs, the aliens, make their presence known at the Super Bowl? I'm not saying they like beam down on the field and say, "Take me to your leader." I'm just saying that this would be the perfect time if you wanted to have a media spectacle, a way to reach literally billions within minutes. This would be the time.
Oh, it writes itself. I'm sure it has written itself.
Yeah. So again, this podcast will not be coming out until Monday morning. So I'm either going to look like a complete jackass or I'm going to look like a fucking prophet.
Should I try and get it out tomorrow morning? Like, just fuck it. Just try and get it out tomorrow morning.
No. I like the fact that this is coming out Monday and we can be complete and total heroes, or we can look like the jackasses we are. Hefe is back. Hefe, I have just announced my prediction for the Super Bowl tomorrow. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
My prediction is that the aliens that have been flying over northern Canada or northern United States and Canada that we've been shooting down apparently because Joe Biden's fucking awesome. They're going to make themselves known at the Super Bowl tomorrow. Like maybe at halftime performance, they're going to beam down, or there's going to be like Tic Tac spacecrafts landing in the parking lot or something crazy. And it's going to happen because everybody's watching that tomorrow. Everyone. And that's when they make themselves known. And then we don't have to worry about the Ukraine, the shitty economy, Hunter's laptop, all the things that could be going wrong with the world. Now we all have to galvanize and unite under a banner of humankind. What do you think?
50-1.
Always the odds, man. I'll take $20 on that.
I am so putting $20 on that. Absolutely. Yeah. Fucking lootly. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is the new narrative. I feel like that nobody bought onto the Red Scourge that is Russia. Nobody bought into that. The Ukraine thing jumped the shark. We're done with it. China hasn't been engaging enough.
Right.
So they need to up the ante to make sure that we can batter down the hatches, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see some kind of a false flag from all this.
Yeah.
I think once you start saying, that if it is, we'll say it isn't the alien narrative, which that would be hilarious. I think once you start seeing CCP writing on things, I think you'll be able to ratchet up a lot more memorable rhetoric when it's over our own land, and I think that's what we end up seeing by the end of next week. I'll still put $20 on aliens any day, though.
At a 50-1, fuck yeah.
Hey, Hefe, I want to ask you something. Star Wars. You liked Star Wars, right?
I liked it. Yes. Didn't love it.
Did you ever think that Luke Skywalker was gay?
No. I mean, he had kind of no. I'm going to stop myself right there.
I was like, wait, where are you going there?
Well, his voice was kind of. No, I never thought he was gay.
Okay.
Is that a thing now?
Well,
Oh yeah.
he is, and the let me go ahead and bring it up here because there's actually a whole subculture of LGBTQ individuals in Star Wars fandom that are gay. And if you look at the picture that they have here for Luke Skywalker, it's a picture. Yes, he's gay. In that picture, he's very gay.
Yeah.
But good for him.
But didn't he marry a badass fucking
in the canon lore?
Yeah.
No, so Mara Jade. And I'm gonna get in trouble with some Star Wars heads here, and that's fine. Right, your congressman. In fact, reach out to us on Twitter, and you can scold me for it. It's fine. But Mara Jade was a badass rogue. She had some Jedi abilities, but she wasn't like a full Jedi. But she was really super badass, and she was also a redhead. And she was all ginger. So he married her in the canon version. Now, I know Disney has gone away from canon because they go away from canon for everything. They're just bastardizing everything. But he did that, and then he also maybe we'll call it a second gentleman kiss with Jill, right? This will make more sense later, Hefe, after you've listened to the show. But it was a smooch when he kissed Leia, right?
Right.
And he made a very heterosexual motion when he kissed her in front of Han, totally rubbing it in. So my question to you guys is, did Leia turn him gay? Did Han getting with Leia turn him gay? Or was he just gay? Which is cool, but I'm just asking.
I mean, I kind of feel like kissing your sister might have that effect. I mean, it might. I don't believe in turning you gay. I mean, quote unquote. Although I think there's plenty of women out there who have just had so many really bad guys in their life that they're like, okay, yeah, I still really am attracted to males, but I can make it work with a woman because guys are fucking assholes and I don't want to do it again. But for dudes, I kind of feel like you are or you aren't. Okay. Regardless of who you've had sex with.
And I shouldn't say turning. I apologize.
Yeah. No, I'm just turning. No. Yeah. But I don't, I mean, I'm sorry. This is God. Can we even debate this? Because we're all three males and we're all three white guys and like, we're not allowed to talk about these issues. But honestly, Luke Skywalker, he cannot be gay. He can't. He's not, that's not the role that he played. In the canon, not even in the movies, but you're right. In Star Wars canon, he got married to a female.
And he was, I don't know.
Yeah.
Disney has to bastardize everything. It's Disney. And that's also why they absolutely failed their earnings report this week.
Yes, they did. Big time. And they're taking it out on the everyday guy who wants to take his family to Disney World or Disneyland. It's like $1,000 a fucking day now. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. It's the happiest place on earth.
Yeah, for $1,000 a day, you too can be happy.
Yeah, per person. The last time that we went there and it was like, wow. I think for a family, for all four of us to do the stuff that we wanted to do, I think we ended up almost spending about $2,500.
Jesus.
How much?
About $2,500. And you got to figure to get in the door, you're talking $300 a person almost.
I remember when I went there when I was a kid, they had a thing where if you brought like canned food, you'd get like $20 off your admission. It was like $60 or $65 to get in.
Yeah, I remember that also. That's, in fact, we were so poor. We went with my grandfather. He paid, but even he demanded that we bring, and it wasn't canned food at the time. I think it was clothes. You brought clothes. They were doing like a, clothes for the needy kind of thing. But we brought clothes, some of my old clothes, and that's how we got 20, like you said, 20 or $25 off the ticket price. But it wasn't over $100 a person. I mean, still crazy.
It's terrible.
And they've priced themselves out for the everyday person to be able to go, and then they turn around and they have content that's absolute trash.
Oh, it's garbage. It's garbage. I mean, some of it's great, some of it's, on par, and I'm willing to pay for. But at this point, right now, at the point I am as a consumer, I'd rather sort of pick and choose between, what I want to pay for and what I don't, because my wife and I watched National Treasure, the series that they came out with on Disney. It's garbage. It's garbage. Really? Oh, it's. I mean, watch it. The first 4 or 5 episodes are like, you get into it. The last episode, you get so up for the season finale. It was so fucking terrible. It was awful. The worst writing I've ever seen in anything. And so, like, my $12.99 a month is going towards that garbage. Now, did I want to watch Wakanda Forever? I absolutely did, and I would have paid for it. But I would have paid for Wakanda and not for National Treasure.
Right.
So I'll piecemeal it. I'll just buy what I want to buy and watch what I want to watch, and not have to get all this other bullshit that either A, I don't politically align with, and I'm not making a political statement here. I'm just saying that kind of shit is out there and people can watch if they want. I don't want to watch it. And then actually purchase the things that I do want to watch and be a part of and move on with my life. But, and then that's not even talking about ESPN, which is slowly dying because Disney bought it and they made it an extra service on top of, and people just aren't willing to pay for it.
Maybe it's time for Disney to go by the way of all other or many other old companies. If you can't evolve, if you're going to be a dinosaur, maybe you need to go away.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. So Hefe, what's on the agenda for the rest of the night? I mean, are you, does it look like an early go home night, or is it, you're going to ride this bitch out and see how much money you can make?
Oh, I'll be riding it out. It's going to be busy until 1 at least, because we have a cash giveaway.
Oh,
at 1:00. You have to be playing at the tables to win, and so it will stay busy until then, and then it'll fall off a cliff. Well, it'll still be busy because it'll only be 1:00, but a lot of people will just,
peace out. Yeah,
get a shot. Yeah. So,
how much is the cash giveaway? If you can talk about numbers.
The giveaway 500 at 10:00, 500 at 11:00, and 5,000 at 1:00.
Damn, $5,000.
Yeah, and
dude, yeah, I would drop $100 at a table just to have a chance at that.
I need to do a $200 buy-in, and every $200 buy-in you do gets you a spot.
That's what I said. I said I would be willing to put in 200. Come on.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. It'd be nice to be at that table when the guy wins it.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Absolutely. That'd be cool if it was Kenny Mayne.
I haven't seen him tonight. He must be busy tonight.
Whatever, douchebag.
So tonight's the big night over at the Bird's Nest over at the Phoenix Open.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's drawing a lot of folks away.
The waste management Bird's Nest.
Did I ever tell you what happened when I had to work the Waste Management Open?
I think so. I think I remember this story, but please tell it, because I don't think we told it on the podcast. I remember this.
So keeping my company out of we're not going to talk who that is. but we do a lot of volunteer work, and our volunteer for that time, and I was pretty young at the time, probably like 24, 25, something like that. So I'm like, yeah, I'll volunteer to, be out at the open. I work 5 or 6 hours, and then I'll go off and, watch some, golf and just see what it's all about. 25 years old.
Right.
I'm going to go slam some beers while I'm there after I'm done working, right?
And the who's who of Scottsdale and all the rich fucks out there. Yeah.
Rubbing elbows. And I think that was even back when Tiger would still show up. Well,
yeah.
So we work directly with the Phoenix Thunderbirds. This is the actual group that puts on the Phoenix Open. Well, in doing so, my job, you taking off, FA?
Yeah, I got to get going.
All right.
You'll hear the rest of the story on Monday.
All right. Say hi to Gretchen for us.
She's off this weekend. I don't know what she's doing.
What?
That's all right. Give her, when you see her, give her a nice big semi hug. Meaning,
right.
don't get your nether regions real close.
Emphasis on semi.
That's right.
All right. Have a good night.
Later.
So anyway, I my job, my job at the time was to actually work a porta-john. My whole point in being was making sure that only people that came to this one tent on this certain green would be allowed to use the toilet there. That was my fucking job. So don't tell anybody, Fitz, but I lasted approximately 15 minutes there, and then I've told the guy I was working with, I'm out. I'm not fucking policing a fucking porta potty. So I bailed from there, and then I walked around and drank a lot and watched golf, and it was perfectly fine. But fuck the Phoenix Thunderbirds. I think that's what the moral of that story is. Yeah,
they're a philanthropist group around the Phoenix area there, and I mean, I'm sure they do some really great work. I'm not taking away from the organization, but I also have heard that they rely heavily on, they'll tout themselves as like, hey, we're at the Phoenix Open and we're doing all this great work, but really it's just these volunteers like you were that day to do really shitty grunt work, and then they get to take all the all the claim of fame for it, and that's bullshit.
It's usually a bunch of rich retirees. That's really what Thunderbirds are. So all right, let's go ahead and throw it out to our sponsors real quick. We'll come back and get a little bit more work done, because we have to talk about Sam Smith and the Grammys and the Nord Stream gas pipeline.
Yes, we do. Let's do it.
Yeah. Fitz, did you see Sam Smith's Unholy performance at the Grammys? You like how I did that?
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I wasn't watching live. I'm not going to pretend I watched it live.
Sure.
But I did. After all the hubbub, I was like, I need to see what this is all about. Particularly because, and I know we're going to get into this later, but particularly because he did this, satanic ritual, basically. And then at the end of it, it was like brought to you by Pfizer, which I had to see. I had to see it for myself.
Just to make sure it actually happened.
Just to make sure that the people who planned this all out were that fucking stupid or are just that brazen, and they don't care anymore. They don't care if we know. They're just going to put it out there. Anyway, so yes, I did watch it. I cringed the whole way through. I know Sam Smith does have a voice. He can sing.
Yeah.
Better than I can. I'm not pretending I have a voice. I do not. But this was in poor taste in every way, shape, and form.
Was it though? Because I've watched this repeatedly, and I'm playing the song. This is from the actual report, or from the Grammys themselves. So this is what everybody saw on TV. You've got fire everywhere. It looks very satanic. There's red lighting. He's got women in, or maybe they're women, I'm not really sure, in some kind of a bedroom outfit. Just like writhing around him and humping him and all kinds of stuff like that. With
like long black hair, right out of the fucking Grudge.
There's some dudes in there too. There's totally some dudes in there too.
Sure, but it's all long black hair. They're all from some kind of demonic a demonic plane. Yeah.
Right. And you've got Kim Petras, the trans winner of the Grammys for this song too. She's in a caged box. I apologize if I fucked up her pronouns. I don't know what they are, but anyway, I don't care. This does nothing for me other than I dig the song. It's catchy.
It is catchy.
And yes, there's writhing.
Look, he's wearing
sexual.
devil horns. He's wearing devil horns.
Well, okay. Take him out of there and put Miss Jackson. What's her name? I almost said Reggie Jackson. That would have been really
Janet?
funny. Janet Jackson. Put Janet Jackson in there singing the same kind of a song. Is it still weird?
Yeah.
Because the whole right has lost their shit over this.
No, I okay. And so here's what I'll say. And again, we're not going to get too deep in the weeds here.
No, but it's fascinating. It is. What happened online is absolutely fascinating to me.
It is, and it's actually online is just a reflection of what's happening socially. So, from the point of the right wingers, I understand that most of them, many of them, are hyper religious, not just religious, Christian, and so they believe in God and Jesus Christ, and He's our Savior, and that you can't walk around representing Satan the way that they're taking this. I'm not saying that's the way it was intended, but the way they're taking it, representing Satan in that way and not have consequences to that. I am not, let's just make this clear up front. I am not a religious person at all. I'm highly spiritual. I am zero religion. I'm against all religions around the planet. Christianity, Judaism, Muslims, all organized religion to me is a form of control. That's period. So let's just go from that point. I still found this highly suspect, particularly when you have the Balenciaga shit coming out, Jeffrey Epstein, adrenochrome, all these. Let's just call them conspiracy theories. Let's just say that there's no validity to any of it. It's all bullshit. All right. Let's just pretend that it's all bullshit. Even in a climate that we're in right now, where there are these theories and these suspicions swirling around you, you're going to say, I don't fucking care. I'm still going to represent this satanic cult that might or might not be fucking babies or killing children. Like, you should have gone so far away. If you wanted to be controversial, you could have done it in a myriad, millions of other ways. But you chose. For a reason, you chose to represent a satanic point of view. This was all highly satanic. All the colors are red. He's wearing devil horns. She's in a fucking cage. He's a sexual slave.
He's wearing devil horns with a top hat.
Okay. Either way.
This doesn't strike me as anything different than something that Madonna would have done back in the day.
Okay. And again, back then, our awareness of all this stuff,
or hypersensitivity to it.
Okay, but 800,000 missing children in this country every year, that's a fact. That's not, nobody will dispute that fact. 800,000 missing children in this country alone. So human trafficking is going on. We just had a bust out here in the Oregon coast. They found 6,000 children in boats in these little storage containers, kids, 15 years of age and younger, all the way down to 6. They found thousands of them. So this is happening. And I'm just saying that okay, all these facts are coming out. People are snooping around. They're investigating this shit. This was in poor taste. Regardless of whether or not that was the intent, it's in poor taste. You could have been controversial in any other way. Why didn't he just do his music video where people are pissing on him? That would have been controversial and oh my God, but it wouldn't have been satanic. It would have just been like gross and weirdly
Draw
sexual.
the line. You know that peeing on people does not make it on national TV. Come on.
But Satanism does. That's kind of my point, dude. You can be satanic, but you can't pee on people.
It doesn't even strike me as satanic. It really doesn't. Yes, you've got some you get some images there that scream to me. It's just raunchy and filthy. Like, I would see this in a strip bar. If I went to a BDSM dungeon, I would see something like that. That's not that I've been, and I haven't, so I can't speak completely to that. But these are the images that I come to. I don't get to anything else other than the fact that it's the celebrity entertainment community that we know is on the left. We know has questionable ties. That's the only thing that I can see that can get there from that.
So if you were, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if there was even somebody, like, let's say your neighbor was accused of beating his wife. The last thing you would want to do is go on national television and have a fight with a woman, even if it wasn't your wife. Like, you wouldn't want to put that out there. You'd be like, well, shit, something's going on in that neighborhood. I'm just saying it was done in poor taste. And I'm also saying that, I did go to that BDSM dungeon in San Francisco, and the imagery there is, but it's all sexual, and it should be sexual. That's what that whole place is for. And I loved it. I got off on every second of it. I'm not saying I didn't. I'm not saying
this is very sexual to me.
Perverted. I'm saying this was national TV. This was the Grammys. This was your coup de grace. This was the performance that everybody was watching, and this is the message you put out, even knowing that there are people out there looking at pedophilia rings and satanic rituals and all that shit, and you didn't care. You put it out there anyway. I'm saying you could have done anything else. Eminem would have come out and had a dead body laying on the ground and said that he killed his mom or something. That would have been like, okay, he's a violent dude. He's got some anger issues. We get it. This is now the devil's out there having slaves, and we're going to make you do whatever we want. That's what I see.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Pfizer didn't see it that way. Pfizer approved the whole Grammys. That was their whole Grammys, man.
Oh, this was their baby. Brought to you by Pfizer.
So did they sign on to this before or after Project Veritas did their thing?
Ooh, good question.
I honestly don't know.
I'm going to say before. I'm going to say they got caught.
Before too.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, fuck. Well, we got to go through with it now. We already signed the contracts.
Oh, wait. Sam Smith is going to... we're not far off. It's fine.
Right. We basically are Satan, so we
should probably just go ahead and let it go.
Just sponsor this.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know, dude. I never thought I would be a person who would have a problem with... I mean, dude, you want to worship Satan? Go for it. Good. Whatever.
Good on you. Whatever makes you feel good. It's fine.
Exactly.
Don't push it on me. That's all you got to do.
That's it. Don't push it on me, and don't fucking push it on kids. This whole thing about, what's wrong with drag queens reading story time to kids? Being a drag queen that's how you get off. That's your sexual pleasure. That's your sexual thing.
Well,
that's what gets you off.
It's your identity. That's what you enjoy.
Okay, but it's sexual. It's sexual, though. It's not just an identity, and I feel like I'm in the wrong body. That's not what a drag queen is. A drag queen is someone who gets off by wearing women's clothes. Don't put that on fucking 5-year-olds, dude. That's not okay. If I was like, hey, I really like jerking off to lesbian porn, I'm going to read story time while I watch a lesbian porn. That would never be okay. Never.
So you're saying you're not gonna go to the library and read lesbian porn to kids?
I am not, because I don't want to go to jail. But for some reason, that sexual kink is okay to read to kids. I just, there's got to be a line, and I'm drawing it. I mean, I know where my line is, and this to me at the Grammys crossed it, and that's just my personal choice.
Well, public decency is a thing. It truly is a thing.
Yeah, and
it does make you wonder. Things like this, and honestly, more credit to him, because he is pushing the envelope, and we are seeing what is public decency, what is something that's appropriate for television, what is appropriate to be seen in public, and maybe that is honestly that's what performers and artists are supposed to do. I don't know. I don't think Sam Smith's thinking that.
No.
But I would
No, he's a
like to
tool.
be able to think that that is something that is in the power of an artist, though, right? In the power of questioning, having that cerebral connection to this is what I'm doing now. Go and apply it to what is acceptable.
I'm 100% with you, dude, and I think the next article that we should tackle should be the piece that was written about podcasters. But I'm an artist at heart. I have zero talent, like no talent for anything. But I still feel a need to express myself, and I don't want anyone to extinguish my expression of myself unless my expression is somehow impeding on other people's freedoms or I'm hurting someone or something like that. Then absolutely I should be shut down. And so again, that's where I draw the line. I think if Sam Smith went out there, and again, you're right. That dude, he doesn't have two fucking rocks to rub together. His IQ. Well, anyway.
You remember the guy from Fifth Element, the one?
Yes,
who
that's
was
exactly who I thought of. The guy who was like
under the piano.
Yeah, throw me that gun, and he rolls in the fucking pool ball because he's so fucking jacked out of his mind. He's so stupid. Yep. Yes, no, that's exactly who I picture. So. No, Sam Smith, he's not smart enough to come up with all this on his own. He's not. And if you think he is, you're kidding yourself. So he's just a pawn, and that's why I feel to my bones that this was done for an actual. This was to send a message to the world public that we're here to stay. You're never going to uproot us, kind of thing. This was not just artistic expression. If it was, I'd be okay with it, because you and I have always been those guys who have been like, hey, whatever, man, whatever blows your hair back, we're going to accept you. That's not what this was. That's not what it felt like.
Well, you know what happened today, though?
Yeah.
Greg Abbott out of Texas decided that they were going to take he was going to go ahead and ban all inclusion and equity programs in the state.
Yeah.
It's a pendulum. One side's going to go and throw down, and then the other side's going to come back and get you. Nobody, if we all wanted to be balanced, we all wanted to meet in the middle and be more of a central, have a conversation, be more open, and just be cool with each other, it'd be fine. But it's never going to be like that when you've got two extremes fucking throwing haymakers like that.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And we've been talking about it on this show pretty much since its inception, which is, you can go ahead and go all the way to the left and be, whatever the phrase is, woke. You can be, completely woke. But you have to understand, if you do that, if you force that down people's throats, the backlash is going to be equally violent, and you're not going to like it. And I think that's what we're starting to see.
I think that's exactly what we're starting to see.
Yeah.
The pendulum goes all the way to the end, and then it snaps back and goes all the way to the other end, and we're starting to see that. All right, so we have two stories we wanted to go and get to end things. We're at the 2-hour mark. We've got the Brookings Institute article, and we also have the Nordstrom.
Yep.
How do we want to handle this?
Let's do, because I have one piece of cool shit that I want to get to, and one piece of bullshit. I got cool shit and I got bullshit, and those literally will take 30 seconds each. But I want to get to both of those too. So let's tackle the Brookings article first, because I think that directly pertains to not only us, but everybody out there in the podcasting community that we actually give a shit about, that are putting out quality content every single week, sometimes daily. And then this kind of shit gets written and it shits all over us. And none of us are going to sit down and take this.
All right, let's do this. Let's do your cool shit, your bullshit, and then let's do the beers.
Okay.
Then we'll end the show, and then we're going to do another overtime episode that's going to be just on the Brookings Institute article and the article, the Nord Stream pipeline, because I think both of them are equally important. Yep,
agreed. I love it.
Which beer are you taking to bed?
Oh, definitely the Hoppin' Frog. This beautiful, beautiful woman of a beer. Peanut butter, hazelnut, caramel chocolate, cake stout, not taking anything away from the wonderful cider that I had to begin the show. Great cider. Please go check out Ben's Cider Company. But that having been said, the one that is going to bed me well, and probably bed me repeatedly, to the point where I'm begging her to stop, is going to be this Hoppin' Frog. Wow, what a beer. And I'll tell you, as it's warmed up, I'm getting a little less of the nuts, the nutty, and that caramel chocolate smoothness. Oh my God. This is a sex beer if I've ever had one. It's, this is one of those where you could lose your virginity to this and you would never be able to equal it ever again in your life. Like, this is the thing that you would always be chasing. You'd always be chasing that one demon that just is elusive. You'd never catch it again. This is that beer. It's fucking incredible. So what about you? What are you taking to bed?
I love Pants Drunk. It's boozy. It definitely, the alcohol content is super, and it comes in hot, but it's a great end of the night beer. It really, really is. Yes, it is hot. Yes, it is boozy, but it is a mouth-watering boozy, and I love that. Fantastic beer. This is between Telluride and 10th Mountain Whiskey and Spirit Company. So if you guys can find it, definitely check it out, because it's fun. It's really, really fun. As long as you like dark stuff.
Yeah.
All right. We are going to wind things up. Look for another episode that's going to drop probably on Wednesday, which is going to include our discussion about Brookings Institute, and we need to get into the Nord Stream pipeline real quick. So it won't be a huge,
and cool shit,
long drop.
Cool shit and bullshit too. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. All right. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. WhiskeyHellPod.com is the website. At whiskey_hell is the Twitter feed. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz.
We'll talk to you soon.
That will do it for this week's show. Shocking how long they last each week. Remember to leave a review, and thanks for listening.